next one, I want to basically start with the status, like, what is going on. So we started with the data science. I mean, started with the Python foundation. So I see that most of you are doing well, except so all the people who are in this beginner in the red. So I want you to come out from this today. So it's quite easy. I told you, right? Like a lot of these thing programs are self-driven, and you get the score. And using this solution from this, right, this particular areas, you will easily get this basic marks. You will easily can go to average and above. Okay, it's the best. What is required is I want you to so focus and solve it and promote towards, at least you need to be in good and excellent. Okay, so staying in one of these is not right. So you have to convert yourself into this. It only happens if I see you in either in in orange or red. That means you have not practiced. If you practice without any programming knowledge, you should be able to come to this one minimum. So this is happening just because you are not spending time and you are not practicing. At the same time, I see that 3 people have not started. I don't know, like now we are going into data science today. These 3 people, why it is not, not even touch any program. Aradhaji, can you see that these 3, like one is the test account, the other 3 people, they have not started. So if they're not started, then how do they understand the data science, and then how do you get certified with the internship? Okay, so
yeah, I'll talk to them, these guys.
Yeah. So whoever is basically here in this, beginner or in the average, so I want you to promote quickly today. Okay, because now we are starting data science, and then that is a different subject. Okay, without this, then you will not able to spend time on the data science and AI. So this is a foundation very much required. So at the same time, it should not take time to come here. You see that majority, almost like closely 50 people have doing well. So we should easily should come here. Okay, let's go to the the planning, like data science. Today we are starting data science mainly as a part of the AI course. So we are going to try to understand what is the data science, and who needs to use it, and who need to implement the data science. Okay, the intention behind behind this. So one second, I think it's the wrong one. Yeah. So technically, we are going to work with the data science for 2 to 3, 4 sessions. Depends on your speed and learning. After that, we are going to start with the machine learning, and so then start the project. So from here, practice is very, very important. The more you practice, you feel you will able to do the project quite easily, and you can able to build your resume with more value. The reason why I'm doing the data science, learning data science, is because there is a lot of jobs in the market, and that is the future. So you basically make sure that you strictly follow and practice all the labs carefully. So this data science is typically, without data science, there is no machine learning. So artificial intelligence is all about the combination of data science and machine learning. So this data science machine learning is completely depending on programming language. So that is why we started with Python programming, right? So assuming that you have that Python programming expertise as of today, now we are stepping into data science as a part 1, followed by we are going to learn the machine learning. combination of that, then how this data science and machine learning will be converted as artificial intelligence. So I'm just trying to recap on the day one orientation. What I told you is mainly so in the market there is a lot of growth as per the trend going on. A lot of other jobs are taken away. So mainly the trend for right now and the near next 10 years minimum, the trend will be going towards the data engineering and data scientist. Okay, so and the salaries, everything that is a booming and main quite important in the market. So these other jobs, you see that the project managers or product managers, all these managers will have only 5% of chance to get the job. Because this manager now converted into machine learning, like whatever the manager which has been doing manually through a human, now that will be that job is converted with automation and artificial intelligence using data science and machine learning. So that's why the management jobs will be gone. So whatever the work that people do, that will be validated using the machines, not through the human. So that's why all the management related or day-to-day routine works will go away with automation. So it's very important that you try to be smart and good with the programming, where you can able to take the decisions based on data and the process, and teach the computer to make the decisions, not to the human. That is the trend. So technically, on average salary in the market for data scientists, it happens to be from starting with 5 lakhs to 2 million per annum. That is how that market trend is. So it depends on what you are, how many problems you can solve using this data science and machine learning is important. So what is our journey towards in this data science, machine learning and AI? Technically, session one today we are going to talk about what is the data science, the types of libraries that we have in using Python and Python related libraries, and within that, what is the list or the collections, I would say, like a list, set, and all that. These things, list, set, tuple, num, and followed by numpy, and then this basically you are going to learn more about list, set, tuples, dictionary, numpy, pandas. These are the collections, like various data placeholders. Like you can put data into this one of these containers and start using that data to process and take the decision. That is the main objective of this. So here in the session 2, we are going to talk about pandas. We'll talk about all that like later. We are going to learn through this all this like journey. Scikit-learn, matplot, seaborn. Looks like this is the different words, but don't need to worry about it. You just need to think about the day-to-day class and try to be best on that. And this one, the minute you go to this one, you will enjoy it. Like so no big deal. It's quite easy, and you will be aligned towards that without any issues. So what is the data science? So mainly applying advanced statistical tools to existing data to generate new insights. So data science is all about what? You are going to store the data and then read the data and then process the data. Then you use some calculations like addition, subtraction, average, mean, median. Okay, all these different type of statistical formulas to arrive into the final conclusion. Like if you are studying engineering, for example, right, then you will see that you are grading, right? What kind of grade you have, what kind of percentage you have, how many subjects basically you cleared, and average on each subject. All these things basically you are going to come out with a professional certificate, right? That is the conclusion of your BTech. what kind of experience you have. Similarly, if I want to find a best engineer from a college, I would go through like placement campus drive. What happens in campus drive? People come with a different type of exams, and they go through first level of exam using like aptitude, then followed by coding, followed by GD round, followed by HR round. All these rounds, they are basically filtering the data. Like they go through first level, everybody participates. Then they go through the statistics and they cut off some of the people. Then they go through second level to cut more people. Then they go through third round, they eliminate more. So similarly, finally, they are arriving with the final people who are kind of good in all layers. Yeah. So similarly in data science, so in campus recruitment, you see that so many people are involved to do that. But now what we are trying to do is everything we are trying to tell a machine to decide. So machine will conduct the exam, machine will take the inputs and filter out. So this is how the journey goes into the. So basically, we are trying to replace human with where where the system can behave like a human. Aradhiji, can you mute yourself as well? I don't know. Somebody is still not some background noise is coming. So how do we do that? So what is the intention of doing the data science? Mainly, we are going to take a decision based on the data, that is basically to bring the change in the current process. So service change means, for example, if you talk about campus recruitment, in college, like every year, some percentage of people are getting jobs, but remaining are not. So the data science can be performed to understand what kind of people are getting jobs and which category of people not getting jobs. Then the education system can be changed towards getting more jobs, right? From first year onwards, they can inject some more, change the curriculum such a way where, based on the corporate companies' demand, they can change the curriculum towards matching the expectation. Then you will get more jobs. But what do we need to change? How do we change? If you simply change something, it is a vague. So we need to go through all the corporate companies to understand how they are taking the decision. How are they shortlisting the students and what pointers? So that is called data science. Okay, that particular example itself called data science. So when you do such a data science project, like finding the recruitment patterns and decision making process, and making the college towards to match their expectation, that can be a data science project. What is it to basically, why are we doing that? To bring a change in the current process. So that is why it's called a service change. And the change can be made based on what the parameters that we basically use to find out the corporate recruitment behavior. So number one, in order to do the data science, the main reason is we are going to bring the service change. When you bring the service change and make the current process better, it is mainly, what is it called? Smart work. So data science and machine learning artificial is all about smart work. So mainly, let's focus what complements the data science. Number one, approach. Number two, process. Number three, outcome. Okay. Take example of performance management. So in the performance management, number one, we are going to define. Number two, we are going to visualize. Then this visualization always comes as a dashboards, like a kind of report system. Okay, what could be the outcome? As I told you, once you can understand how the corporates are basically doing the business, like how hiring the process, the patterns to use it to hire the people. If you understand, then you are going to change the college curriculum and the teaching pattern. Then what could be the outcome of that? Then there will be more placements in a particular campus. So one way is the performance management, meaning how many people got hired this year, how many people are going to be hired next year. So outcome of your data science, you are going to make some changes this year. Then then you will see outcome of outcome for this change next year, right? Similarly, evaluation. So technically, we are going to evaluate, the basically how the corporates are taking the decisions, and then based on that, we are going to bring some policies and decisions in the college. Then that will trigger the betterment. Similarly, every college has some policy, right? Meaning it has to start at so and so date in June or July. Then first semi quarter, this is the syllabus that need to be basically cleared, and this many exams to be conducted, this many workshops, this many one-to-one meetings and all that. There could be some current policy which may or may not be. In some colleges, the placements are very good. In some places, the placements are not good, or some students are getting, no matter what, they are getting jobs. Some students are doing whatever it is, they are not getting jobs. So it is due to the policy that is in place. So if we bring the modification to that policy, then we will come out with the recommendations. Okay, that recommendation will be implemented into design and visualization and outcome. Finally, in order to do all these things, what you need to depend on is the data. So you have to collect the data, and you have to analyze the data, and then you are going to bring the statistics in the format of Excel or text file or Word document or graphs, all these things, or bullet points. Then that will trigger to making changes. So finally, one second. The very last one is the data science is all about identifying the drawbacks in the process, and then make it automated towards getting the better performance. Now let's understand each item in detail. So approach is all about what? So all approaches can lead to service improvement. It's about choosing the right tool for the right job. Okay. So in order to perform statistical methods in artificial intelligence, what you need to do is you need to use this some of the combination, either one or a combination of these tools, these statistical methods to arrive the outcome. Ultimate goal of all these AI processes, we need to come out with the statistics like what is the drawback with the current system, what is the improvement, and then we are going to demonstrate the outcome with some visualization. So for that, we are going to use sentiment analysis, time series analysis, data mining, multi-level modeling, and dealing with the missing data. So then survival and pattern, okay, principle. So A/B testing, all this we'll understand what it means slowly. But these are the things that we basically use, okay, in the data science. Here in the machine learning, we are also going to look at the kind of pattern matching and logistics, multinomial, multiple linear regressions, network analysis. All this, there is different type of analysis. So technically, three things you should be really focus. One is how do we basically read and analyze the data, number one. Then number two, how do we find the patterns and apply the regressions. Number three, how we forecast the outcome. Okay, these three things that we should be worried about and need to keep in mind and learn. Then what are we going to use? What kind of tools we use in data science or AI? One is programming, as I told you. That is why you have learned Python so far. Okay. Number two, I want you to also practice a bit of SQL. Okay, on the side. So we need that. It is very important to understand the structured data and unstructured data. So you can basically go to any one of the open online tools to learn the SQL. Number two, we can also give you that list of samples in the next session on how to deal with this SQL. And I will also give you one sample, HTML project. This kind of to-do list or address book kind of thing, how to develop a micro project in the UI. Okay, 1 second. Let me. So I'm not putting this. Okay. So next one is the SQL and dealing with the JavaScript and HTML. These three things you need to have basic knowledge so that you can think about all the things in with more understanding. Mainly, it's not about JavaScript; it's more about HTML and CSS, like to understand. I will also give you the assignments in the next session. So, libraries wise, we are going to deal with NumPy, which is a part of the SkyPy, and then Pandas. Okay, this is the data science things that we are going to use, and then scikit-learn for machine learning. Okay, the other things you don't need to worry about right now. That is as based on your project work you can use. And data engineering has to be done. Obviously, we are going to do the data sets, profiling, and all that. And these are the different business terms. So we are going to use some data sets like CSV files, Excel, Notepad, text files like that. All these different different type of data sets. And finally, the results will be produced based on the previous session we have seen, right? Matplot. These are the completely high end that you are going to use some of them insights, but Matplot and Seaborn we are going to use to analyze the data. So next to here, trying to understand what is not data science. Okay, so here so far we understand what we want to do in data science. It is also very important what is not come under data science. Okay, so that you have a clear idea about what is the data science and what has to be what you need to focus while doing the data science research. Number one, we are doing this entire data science process because of we want to identify the problem in the current process, and we want to bring the change in the current process. Doing academic research like what is the future, who will study or who will not, and whatever this future related thing is not a data science. Data science means you need to have a data in place, meaning you already have collected some data, and based on that data you are going to find the fault and come out with the improvement. That is a data science. Small changes, okay, and once you do the data science, coming with the fault and understanding the fault and making the improvement, and you are going to make micro changes. You are not going to basically erase everything or remove everything what is happening right now and then reconstruct. That is not a real data science. Okay, that is a completely business plan and a business approach. But nobody expect you to just wipe out everything. Like if it is a college, just to completely reconstruct the new college with a new gateway, new entrance. That is not the data science. Data science is understanding the current structure, bringing the micro changes, like small changes at once, to then test it and see, feel the outcome and impact, then make another change, then test and feel the outcome. That is how the data science works. And then there may be like some percentage, where a very minute percentage, where people think that whatever we are doing right now, it is completely waste, which need to be redeveloped. That maybe is dangerous, and that kind of conclusion comes with a lot of additional research. Okay, Number three, data science always starts with existing data. It is not something that you will collect tomorrow, next week, next year. Then you feel that you are doing a data science. That is completely wrong and bad. Okay, that is a different research. That is a forecasting, right? So in forecasting, that machine learning AI will predict that forecasting based on what? Based on again existing data. If there is no data, there is no machine learning, there is no data science, there is no AI. It's kind of done. So if it all begins with data, it is all begins with analysis of the current data. Okay, just keep that in mind very carefully. High level, just in 5 minutes, I'm going to walk through with what is the data science sources and all that, which we have seen this in orientation class. I'm just trying to repeat again. So how many ways we can collect the data from how many sources? Okay. So high level, like the data comes from either from the documents or from the media, or can be from the cloud, or it can be from the web, or it can be from IoT, or it can be from social networking profiles, or it can be from social influence or activity generated data on the warehouse, okay, network streaming and all that. And finally, databases. Generally, we store data in some Oracle and databases, right? Like MySQL, Oracle, and MS Access, all these things. So you know what is a media, right? And you know what is a web. And IoT is something that you can try to have more knowledge. Like IoT is all about, for example, there is some camera, and the camera is collecting a lot of data, like how many people pass by, that particular time or particular week, and what kind of activity a person is doing. Or in highways, there is cameras on the toll gates where it is going to collect like what type of cars are going and the nameplates and the people behavior, all that, right? So that is just example. Today, that IoT is playing a major role, like combination of now you see that hardware and software got together. Earlier, hardware is not doing anything; it is just sitting there and not doing anything. Softwares are handling the data processing. Now today, the combination of hardware and software together, that is what the IoT is. Okay. Databases, you see that it can be our computer or our mobile phone, or it can be a data center where there is a lot of servers and all that. So this is the databases. And the social networking, right? So after all that, you are going to generate the data with the different data pointers. Okay. Finally, what is important? The visualization we spoke about. Outcome. Okay. The outcome, or you call it as outcome or visualization or a report, is all comes into this format. So for this purpose, we are going to learn some of the libraries, which is nothing but matplot and seaborn, to generate this kind of graphs. So in the data science or in AI, everything begins with a business problem. As I told you, like in a college, talking about the placements, for example. So first question can be in the college, like how to increase the placements. Okay, the business problem is why the placements are not increasing. That is the question. Okay, then one of the many trials of the good data scientist will come out and start thinking about the plan. Then he will the first step towards the doing the data science is basically data collection, which can be from servers or log database for online or different sources for documents, or talking to the people and writing the notes. All this comes into the data collection. Data preparation. Data preparation is all about, first you may write your notes in different format. You may collect the data from different people. Some you can do the audio recording, some you are going to do the video recording, some you are going to write it in the textbook, some you directly type into the Excel or Notepad. So this you are going to take all these different formats, and you are going to combine everything into one particular format, right? So in that you are going to start analyzing and processing this data by cleaning up and making everything into one particular standard. Attributes is nothing but a column name, right? like a first name, last name, problem, what is the problem, what is the current problem, what are we trying to resolve, okay? How many people involved into this, how much data we collected from different sources, all these things. So technically, data modeling. Data modeling is all about, as I told you, different type of data you will collect and kind of finally format into one particular type. Then today or next 1 week or 1 month, for example, you have collected so much of historical data, and you have one particular set, and you are going to test whether what kind of output you are going to get it from that. Now you will accumulate again. Next you get a different source again and add more and see, and then you tell computer, like system, to tell come out with the projections based on this perform analysis and the tweaking. What could be the result for next year? That predictions will be generated. Okay, so finally you are going to create reports to understand the process. So let's get into the next one. So before we step into the practical lab, so I want you to tell you one thing. Artificial intelligence is all about converting a machine to think like a human. So you try to make this note, write down. If somebody asks you what is artificial intelligence and what is the machine learning, then you need to answer this. Artificial intelligence is all about making the computer to think like a human. Okay, so you may have a question like, computers are so powerful as of now, and is it not working like a human? They are not. Today, what is happening? The computers are not working like a human. They are just working like a machines. Okay, meaning whatever you tell the machine to do it, they will do it very fast. Comparatively, human cannot perform that very fast, but computers can perform. Or a computer can run like the same thing for a million times based on your instructions. But whatever you say, it is going to do it. Wherever you don't say the particular thing, it will not do it. It will stop. That is the computer drawback. Okay. So now that last few years, the people are thinking to convert machines to think like a human. Meaning, we will tell computer as of now to do this. Like if you say sum of two numbers, I am going to give two numbers. Then it will say number one plus number two. That is how we program it, and that is how the system behaves. What if I just send the two numbers and I don't say anything? Then what is the system going to do today? It will say, I can't process. But now we are trying to tell the computer, if such a cases, how to think, see in the paragraph somewhere, I wrote a story like, if I give odd numbers, you do this way. If I give even numbers, you do this way. If I give negative numbers, you do that way. Okay, if I don't give you anything, then you behave like that. I write a story. But in program, I'm not going to write like, A plus B or A minus B. I don't write. But I am expecting computer to take the decisions. So in order to do that, that is where this data science comes into the picture and machine learning comes into the picture. Ultimately, it is like robots, right? They are kind of fully loaded with the data, and they trained all the data sets to identify the situation and behave. Okay. Similarly, automated cars on the roads, that is also fully loaded, and they equipped with a lot of training data. Data sets are given and the patterns are given. Then they take the decisions based on that particular situation. Nobody is telling you are not holding the steering and driving, right? That means that human is basically using the machine to control. But now artificial intelligence says like, tell everything to the computer, like how to behave based on the situation. so that the automation comes into the picture. That is called artificial intelligence. Okay, so here, 1 second, let me see who is not muted. So here, before we begin with the data science, these three concepts are very important. You must be completely familiar with, having a very good understanding, and you must practice well, and you should have this completely, everything in your mind well placed. Like, what is a list? How should I declare a list? What is a, what is a tuple, and what is a set? All these things must be very clear in your mind. You should be very thoroughly practicing that syntaxes, thoroughly able to understand all the attributes and play with these things. Okay. In last session, I have told clearly about that, but I don't think if you might have practiced. But today you must practice and be clear with list, tuple, set. Okay, and also dictionary. 4 things. I'm going to repeat now. One is list. Okay, mutable. Tuple is immutable. Set is unique numbers. Okay, so mutable means I can declare a set like that, and during the runtime I can able to add, delete, and do the manipulation. Okay, that is a mutable. Just think about, like, in front of the TV, how you can able to mute, unmute your video using your control, right? So you can use a remote controller. Then the remote, using remote, you can able to mute, forward, okay, and stop all these things. That's why it's called mutable. Okay, meaning you are allowed to disturb that particular list during the runtime. That is the mutable. Unmutable means basically once so once it is like, for example, right now my presentation is unmutable for you. I have not given any rights for you to disturb my process, right? You can only watch, but you cannot move the slides. You cannot delete my slides, or you cannot move around. You cannot play with, right? That is the unmutable. Meaning, like, immutable means you can't able to disturb it. You have to just read. Sets are basically, it's mainly used for what? To make the unique numbers. The representation need to be unique. It is not going to allow any duplicate numbers. But whereas in list and tuple, it is going to allow the duplicate numbers. That is the plan. How do you declare and work with the list? Number one, you are going to declare the list using square brackets. Okay, and then if I want to, this is by using for numbers and the floating combination. This is for, again, this is for numbers and the strings. And if I want to make empty, like once it is there, I want to make it empty, then I can simply say num underscore list underscore begin and close. Then that list will be erased and going to 0. So here you can see that how to read the list values. Like, once I declare, if I want to read the first value, I would say the numbers of 0. Then I'm going to get this. So number 2, printing and all that. So if I want to read and print, this is how you use it. So let's go to next one. So let's clearly understand the list once again. So in the data, data structures of Python, one is a list that we are learning. It is going to begin with the square bracket, and it is a mutable. Okay, so this is how we are going to declare it. And if I want to have a list inside the list, like a nested list, right? This is a plain list. Like, I'm going to say begin under square bracket. So separated by comma, all these things. Then if I want to have a list and there is one more list inside, then I would go for some list equal to, okay, so I have the list items like item 1 comma. This sum list is going to be what? This will come into here, like, again bracket, begin and close, then item 1, item 2, item 3 going to come here, then item 3, then and so on. Clear? So In order to declare one list, you are going to do this. If you want to declare multiple lists, you are going to do this. And how do I append my list? If I want to add some more to the, see, this is a mutable, right? I can able to add in the runtime. So I can say some list dot append, and you can put one value here, then that will be added to the your current list. Okay, next one, what are the properties we have or the methods we have inside the list? So one is append, which is going to add more, and clear is going to clear, and copy, count, extend. You play with all these examples. Okay, so then you feel that comfort. Do not rush, like, once you add one variable and declaring and printing, then you feel like you learned list. That is not the way to learn programming. It is like, the characteristics, right? Like, this is the object that we work to work with the numbers collections, right? At the same time, you should understand what are the other things that are there inside this to handle, and what is the purpose of that. So you must be very clear with all the details. Okay, the why to use, when to use, how to use. So do that. So practice. Why I'm stretching so much on this is because this is the fundamental aspect for AI. Very important topic, and must be familiar with this. With whatever I'm telling you today, like list, list get, a list set, and a dictionary, and a tuple is very important for you to begin with. So since data science is all about collecting the data and storing the data, that is the first step. So once you have a data, where do you store? So these are the things that you use to store: list, set, tuple, and dictionary. Number two, tuple, right? Tuple is basically, again, is items to be placed as a immutable state, where you will not able to disturb. You will not go and manipulate during the runtime. Clear? So how do you design or declare the tuple with the this open and close brackets? Okay, whereas the list is square brackets. This is a regular standard brackets. So otherwise everything else is same. Only thing is in the it is kind of read only, whereas the list is read and write. Okay, how do you declare this tuple? So you're going to declare here, like, some empty. You print, it will give you empty thing. If you declare, like, if you place numbers here, it will be printed with that. So on, so right here, if I want to, this is just a numbers. This is a mixed type, like number and the data, like, string and float. This is with data and one more tuple inside. Okay, so this is very different ways to deal with it. And what kind of methods it has inside? One is comparing. So when you say CMP, comparing elements of two tuples. Okay, so then when you say length, it will give you the length of that particular tuple. Is max, minimum, and tuple converts some list into tuple. If you want to, if you have a list as an input, but you want to convert that as a from read and write to only read only, then you will convert that as a tuple by using this method. Next, going into sets. Okay, what is a set? Set is all about it is going to be maintain the unique values, right? It is not allowing you to put duplicate numbers. So here a set is basically declared with what? Curly brackets. First, number one, curly brackets. So the three has three different brackets. One is square, which is list. Normal standard brackets representing the tuple, and sets is representing as curly brackets, right? So just keep that in mind and write it down. Like, I always encourage students to write the syntaxes at least 5 to 10 times to just memorize it, understand that the syntaxes in mind. It's like, you memorized all this basic mathematics and alphabets words, right? Without that, you can't formulate. By hearting a story is bad, but by hearting of the syntaxes and the alphabets are important. The memory should remember all that. You should not get confused with that. Okay. So here also by-hearting program is bad, but by-hearting syntax is very important. You must have that in memory. Hmm? So this is the set. This is how you declare, and the same story. Next, coming to dictionary. Why we need a dictionary? The dictionary is mainly good for storing and retrieving. Like dictionary, think like a bank account. Okay. So every bank account is unique, and you are going to deposit your money there, and you will withdraw your money, right? So dictionaries are behaving like bank account. So what do you have in bank account? Your customer ID, your customer number is the key, and what is the value in it? And with your money is the value. So for example, one of the customer number is 124. So this particular number has some amount like 1,000 rupees in the account. So what is the key in it? What is the value? The 124 is the key, and the value is the 1,000 rupees. Similarly, this dictionary is basically declared with the key and value. Okay, so you are going to set these things with the only difference between set and dictionary is in set you will not use colon. Okay, in set you are going to define the numbers like that and with the commas, but both has a curly brackets. Okay, so try to write down or remember, do whatever you want. So that you have to define the difference. Number one, the set has a curly brackets, but you will not be used any colons inside. Okay, but in dictionary, both similarly, we are going to use curly brackets, but we are going to use the colon. Why the colon is here? To represent the key and value. So if you take this example, one is the key, Apple is the value. Two is the key, Apple is the value. It is something like a bank account where one is the customer number and this is Apple. In place of Apple, you have some 1,000 rupees. Okay. Similarly, it can be from different ways, like key can be from the number or it can be a string. Clear? So in this combination, you can also do all this matrix. So the mainly, so we learned about list and we learned about tuples and then sets and dictionary. So to summarize, list is going to begin with square brackets, and it is mutable, which means we can able to manipulate in runtime. And tuple is all about immutable. So that means it's read only and begins with the standard brackets. And sets is all about starting with the curly brackets and only can store the read only, I mean unique numbers. Okay. So next dictionary is all about similar to the syntax wise, similar to the set. It begins and ends with the curly brackets, but it is defined with key and value. Okay, key. Okay, it is like a bank account with the customer number and the currency. So this need to be on the other side somehow. It is not related to dictionary. This is related to sets, where the set has all these methods like add, clear, difference, intersect, and union. Okay. So in C programming, all that we do all these things very tough. With different lot of programming is required. Like if you want to do a union, you will do so much of work. But here you simply can call union method, and it will take care of that. So that is the practical part of that introduction. Okay. So far I just rephrasing and trying to set the foundation for data science. This is the foundation for data science: list, tuple, set, and the dictionary. there is a power issue here, and so let's summarize it for today. So I'm going to give you the labs. Mainly, you need to practice those, so Aradhaji, are you there? I need a host access, I think. Okay, guys. So mainly, we try to wrap up for today, and I'm going to share you all the links and what is required, and we'll instruct in the in the chat in the WhatsApp group. So I want you to practice all the examples related to those data collections, which is a list, set, tuple, and dictionary very much, and also a bit of NumPy. So I'm going to send you some video recording related to that and the labs. So try to practice as much as you can. Okay. So is that clear? Can you one or two respond, like, is the plan for today, is it clear? So I'm watching the chat group. Can you some of you respond? Okay, good. So go back to your session. The people who have not completed Python, please complete, and mainly focus on the set list and all the collections I'm going to send you anyway. And also I'm going to share with NumPy related. The first lesson in our thing will be NumPy. I'm going to send you that NumPy video as well. Watch that and start practicing those examples. So whoever gets into data science, I want you to install the Hebion helper. So we'll also send you that link, Hebion helper video link, how to install, how to start your process. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Then all the best. And so try to focus from here. You need to practice a lot. So in order to enjoy the project work in artificial intelligence. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we are going to give you that, all the video links. YouTube channel is there. Also in the same course curriculum, you can see the trainer videos are there. All the, all the videos will be there. You can follow that in the within the Hebian labs. Yes, you will have all that. Yeah.